them go. Let them go.
Let them go. Let them go. Let them go. Let them go. Let them go.
So it is unbelievable that after 12 months there are still so many hostages kept in tunnels in Gaza. In the next minute or so, we're going to have a minute of silence. This is being observed all around the world. And if you are the praying type, this would be a time to pray and lift your prayers to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to free his people and let them go, to come home, either to be buried with their family or to be reunited with their families. So let us take a moment now in a minute and a half.
And at this time, it is, what time is it? 1:12. Palestinian Islamic Jihad and even some supposed civilians came across the border by land, bulldozing through the border wall in over 100 places. They invaded Israel by sea, taking boats and landing on Israeli beaches, and they came in by air, paragliding into the Nova Music Festival and into border kibbutz. Today we remember the most horrific attack on Jewish people since the Holocaust, a wave of horror unleashed, specifically targeting civilians. It is a pain and a horror most of us here, thankfully, can never imagine. But starting now, we will take a moment of silence to remember the 1,200 lives lost and the over 100 hostages still held in Gaza.
Not compared to the Israeli people and the Israeli leadership. All I've done is stand up for what I think is almost self-evident, and that is the decency of the Jewish people, the right of Israel to exist, to defend itself, and the importance of democracy standing together at an incredibly difficult time. I want to open these few brief remarks by saying that the Jewish people have been magnificent Australians for the last couple of 100 years. And Australia has been a wonderful place for Jewish people to live and flourish.
I speak today as a non-Jewish student and as an Australian student. I speak to my peers across the country. The story of Australia is one of filled with Jewish success, selflessness and service. To peddle anti-Semitism is to betray our country.
On both sides of my family, anti-Semitism was as overt as the yellow stars sewed into their coats. They bore the worst kind of cruelty. Permanent scars, the tattoos left on their forearms from Auschwitz, but also invisible scars. By the time I was born in Sydney, anti-Semitism was seemingly relegated to a distant past. But today, to be a Jew on campus is to hear the echoes of history. I walk through the modern and innovative university I've called my home for the past 2.5 years and feel that my experience is no different to the generations of Jews before.
Didn't speak up when the Nazis came for the socialists, the trade unionists, and finally the Jews, because he wasn't one of them. So when the Nazis came for him, there was no one left to speak for him. In other words, evil triumphs when good men and women do nothing. And it will come for all of us eventually if we do not unite to oppose population contain the same problematic material of incitement as Palestinian Authority school books. My friends, if there's to be any progress towards peace, this evil indoctrination must end.
Is our God.
Never again is when?
Now!
I was in the airport this morning and the news was reporting that the Jewish community is commemorating the October 7th attacks today. Is there anybody other than the Jewish community here? It's also the Christian community and the wider Australian community who is standing in commemoration and grief and solidarity with the people of Israel and Jews around the world, saying never again is now. Thank you. I would like to thank the organizers of this event for giving us this opportunity. I am here on behalf of Mehr Iran Foundation and our Iranian Australian community to convey our message of solidarity in peace with the Jewish community of Australia. On this day, the anniversary of October 7, we remember the lives that were taken away by the evil terrorists of Hamas, Hezbollah, and their allies. Human beings are members of a whole, in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is afflicted with pain, the other members uneasy will remain. These were the quotes by the Persian poet Sa'di. This concept materialized during the Second World War when thousands of Jewish refugees found shelter in Iran under Reza Shah the Great, protected from genocide and ethnic cleansing. Us Iranians may be the closest people to Israelis in feeling their pain. Your Shani Luke resembles Nika Shakarami for us. The war they had started on Israeli civilians on this day, and the inhumane act of terror reminded us of our own nation and what has been done to us by the same cult of death.
Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And Jesus Christ tells us that the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself.
We've come to bring you his peace. We've come to bring you his peace. We've come to bring you to be found. Hallelujah, hallelujah, shalom aleichem, hallelujah, shalom aleichem, hallelujah, shalom aleichem, hallelujah, shalom, shalom, shalom aleichem, shalom, shalom, Yerushalayim, shalom, Yerushalayim, shalom, shalom, Yerushalayim, shalom, Yerushalayim, shalom.
Thank you very much for having me here today. It is such a pleasure and an honour to be standing here with our wonderful Jewish community, my fellow Australians, and a special shout out to the Iranian community here in Canberra. It has been a great pleasure of mine to have worked with you in particular over the last 2 years to ensure that our government holds Iran to account for the atrocities that the IRI regime commits, not only against its own people, but against the people of Israel as well, as we've seen in the 12 months since the 7th of October. But even more concerning was the fact that while most of the world were not only shocked but expressed deep, deep sadness at these events, there were some, including some here in Australia, whose words and actions following the events of October 7 were outright disrespectful and outright anti-Semitism. We cannot afford for this type of mentality to take hold, to sit back and to say nothing while others head down that dark path. And that is why it is so important for us all to be here today, standing in solidarity with Australia's Jewish community. To stand here and say that we will not sit back and tolerate anti-Semitism. To remember those who lost their lives on the 7th of October, those hostages that were taken, those that will not be returned to their families, and those who still need to be returned to their families, and to stand with our Jewish community at this incredibly difficult time. I want to pay tribute to those who have organised this rally today and those who have organised similar rallies across the country, not just today, but over the last 12 months, to ensure that we as Australians do not forget the hostages, that we do not forget the heinous crimes that have been committed against Israel and against the Jewish people, and that we stand with our Jewish community here in Australia.
Stand today, and we've heard a lot about the silent Australians. The time for silence is over. It is time to stand up, to speak out, to take action on our streets, to gather in suburbs, in communities right across the country, as so many of our Jewish Australian community is today, and other Australians, to come together, as I was so thankful to in Caulfield, to say Shabbat. Thousands of Jewish and non-Jewish Australians gathering in that community. What have I done wrong? You'd think an old phys ed teacher could yell across an oval, but anyway, here we are. Coming together in solidarity and respect. We do not need the anti-Semitism that has become all-pervasive, not just on our university campuses. Businesses being boycotted, primary school students who are told not to play with their Jewish friends in an Australian public primary school. That is actually what's happening today. And so it is up to our government, it is up to us as individuals, us as the Christian community more broadly, to take personal and individual action to turn this around and to make sure Israel knows that Australia hasn't forgotten the Second World War, will not forget, and will continue to stand with those families and that nation. I bring to you the Coalition's full support and solidarity. We look forward to this fight, and we will win it. Thank you.
Anti-Semitism is being practiced by many very ignorant, spoiled little brats at our universities. And that's not, I'm not having a go actually at the ones who might come from an Islamic background. I'm having a go at the useful idiots who are Christians, white Australians, or others who have been indoctrinated, probably don't even know where the Red Sea is, what river they're talking about, and are just blatantly ignorant of history, and that is disturbing. I think steps must be taken by state and federal governments to counter that, to stamp out anti-Semitism. I support it. If you don't, you're going to get charged with offences, and if you're not an Australian citizen, we'll deport you. We don't want troubles like that here. We are a tolerant country. We like our Jews. We like our Muslim immigrants here. We like all immigrants here, regardless of whatever their race, and we certainly don't want that vilest of racist slurs, the anti-Semitism coming into this country.
The persecution of Europe, the horrendous anti-Semitism. He made a joke once. We were walking as a child up Bondi Road. I was a young lad, and a car calls out, "Bloody Jews!" We were going to the synagogue on Shabbat. My father says, "I love this country." And I said, "What are you talking about?" "In Poland, they stopped and they beat you up." But truth be told, I do look a little bit Jewish, and really, till these events of October the 7th, I cannot say I've experienced virulent anti-Semitism, but unfortunately this has changed. And at our synagogue there at Central Shul, I experienced it firsthand when on November the 8th of 2023, in the middle of the Friday night service, the synagogue had to be evacuated because a Palestinian mob was coming towards us.
Shalom.